Hello guys, what's up? This is Murtaza. Welcome back to A Coder's Journey. This is the next video in this playlist where I am talking about the most important principles in software development. As I have told you before, these videos will not only help you to become a better programmer, but they will also help you to land your dream job, because more often than not, they are the principles that software developers are expected to know about and follow. They are usually asked about in job interviews, and regardless of the platform or the language that you use in your career, they are, absolutely essential to know about, to follow, and to write code based on these principles. So if you haven't already watched the previous videos, please make sure you do, because they're very important. And in this video, stay to the very end, where because we are going to talk about another very important principle, which is called the Interface Segregation Principle. This principle is very similar to the SRP principle, the first principle which we talked about. So we're gonna just dive in and talk about this principle. I'm gonna give you some examples, and at the very end we're gonna talk about the benefits that following this principle will bring about. So let's go. As I told you, the ISP, or Interface Segregation Principle, is very similar to the SRP, Single Responsibility Principle. To refresh our mind, the SRP, or Single Responsibility Principle, states that our classes, modules, or even windows in our user interface should only have one single responsibility. If not, more often than not, you will have to, make different changes in different places whenever you want to change a, simple responsibility. So, as I told you, the ISP is very similar to SRP, but it is specifically about interfaces, not classes or modules. So this ISP states that the interfaces that you declare in your applications should be very focused and very cohesive. So the interfaces should follow the SRP. They should have only one single responsibility rather than multiple ones. This will bring about many advantages, which we will talk about shortly. So basically, a class which wants to implement an interface should only be required the methods that it actually needs, right? So whenever there are different methods in an interface, methods which are not related to one another, which are not cohesive, when a class wants to implement such an interface, basically it has to implement the methods which it is not going to use, right? So adhering to the ISP will help you to have laser-focused interfaces with well-defined responsibilities, so that whenever a class wants to implement such an interface, it has to only implement the methods that is actually needs, without being forced to write code for the methods which it is not going to use at all. So this principle encourages the development of streamlined and focused interfaces. As I told you, adhering to the ISP will help you to have laser-focused, well-defined, modular interfaces with methods which are highly cohesive, which are highly related, and in turn the classes which want to use these interfaces will not be forced to write code for the methods that they do not need. So ensuring that each class is responsible for implementing only what is relevant to its specific requirements. For example, suppose that you have an interface called iSerializable. So this interface explicitly, states that if a class wants to be serialized, it needs to implement this interface. Now, supposing that interface, there are different methods about, printing a document as well. So whenever a class wants to be serializable, it not only needs to write code for methods about serializing, it also has to write code for methods about printing a document as well. Let's move on. Contrary to larger, all-encompassing interfaces, ISP promotes a modular and tailored approach, allowing classes to adhere to interfaces that align precisely with their functionalities. So as I told you before, basically ISP states that interfaces should have only one responsibility, one explicit, well-defined responsibility. And the classes which need these interfaces will only have to write code for the methods that they 100% need, right? So they do not need to write code for a bunch of unrelated mishmash methods. By adhering to ISP, interfaces become more meaningful and specialized, and enhancing code maintainability, reducing the potential of unnecessary dependencies in implementing classes. As I told you, if a class wants to be serializable, it shouldn't be forced to write code for methods related to printing a document or, sending a request over the web, right? So because this class only wants to be serializable, it shouldn't have unnecessary dependencies, right, on other functionalities. If you have an interface for which you cannot come up with a meaningful, single, highly focused name, chances are that that interface is violating the ISP principle. So whenever you think to yourself that, so what name should I choose for this interface? Because it is not only helping a class become serializable, but it has something to do with sending a request over the web. And some methods are also related to printing. So should I name this interface, printable, serializable, network request or something? No, this is a red flag. This means that this single interface should be, refactored. You should split this huge interface into 3 different, highly focused, smaller interfaces so that the classes which want to implement the different functionalities do not need or are not forced to write code for the dependencies that they don't want or they are not going to use. So as I told you, not being able to come up with a meaningful name for an interface means that more often than not, you are not paying attention to the ISP principle. Respecting the ISP will also help you have a more maintainable code base, because whenever you want to refactor, you know specifically what code file or what class or what interface you need to go to. And by changing an interface, that change will not propagate to other interfaces, because rather than having one huge interface with many methods to be implemented, you have several well-defined, shorter, more explicit interface. So the ISP, that is all. I think you get the idea. If you have, any questions, just, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'm gonna finish this video here, and I hope you guys liked watching this. And I thank you for sticking around till the very end. If you have anything to say, just, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you guys want to, I don't know, want me to talk about a different topic, just, leave a comment in the comment section. I will try my best to create videos about that specific topic you want to learn about. And don't forget to share this video with a friend, give it a thumbs up, and also, leave a comment in order to help this video, promote. That will keep me motivated, and I will continue working more videos like this for you guys. Anyway, stick around. In the next video, we're going to talk about the next principle, which I think is one of my favorites. Till later. Bye-bye.